And Commissioners, the meeting's live.
Good morning. Welcome to the April 3rd meeting of the Riley County Commission. Please stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment? Yeah, we'll start with commissioner comments. Do you have anything, John?
Yeah, just a couple of quick things. It's not been a overly busy week, as you can probably imagine. I did meet with Anna Burson, Riley County Appraiser, to discuss a few items of relevance in her office, including the Senate resolution 5011 that failed, particularly in the Kansas House. Got some updated numbers, some figures, some items that will impact both her office and the just the appraisal system in general. Always good to get the opportunity to catch up, and particularly this time of the year when they're extremely busy. Generally speaking, the everything was just kind of rather quiet. I did want to mention one thing in particular. There is, I did catch wind of an RHID project that's taking place in Leavenworth County, particularly in the city of Lansing. Don't have all the specifics yet. Like I said, I'm still trying to catch up on this. There are some concerns, particularly in the school district, which I believe is USD 469, I think. The developer on this project is winning the full 20-year incentive to hopefully reimburse what's going to be a projected $27 million infrastructural project to cover those costs over that particular point in time. There's a citizens petition that's been put together against the measure. Like I said, I'm still trying to put all this together. I just found out about it on Tuesday. So as you can do, I'm trying to do my due diligence to catch up on it. I'm sure that has some relevance to you, Commissioner McKinley, since you're from Leavenworth County as well. And keeping in mind that Leavenworth County is also one of the more heavily tax abated and tax exempted counties in the state. It's being discussed this evening at their city council meeting. I haven't been able to find a YouTube link or anything. I gotta think that it's online or something, but I just haven't been able to find it yet. It's just happening kind of fast. But there is a citizens petition against this particular project for reasons that are obviously stated. But outside of that, I'm gonna try to spend some time just kind of watching and seeing what happens there for obvious reasons. But at any rate, even the school district up there and Lansing and Lansing, just for the record, is probably the one city that is kind of growing in Leavenworth County. I don't know that anything else really is, but eventually it will have to come back to the county. So I will reach out to county partners that I do know there at some point in time and just try to keep updated on that. So, and with that, that's about all I've got this morning.
Okay. Well, Tuesday I attended the worship committee at my church, and afterwards I reviewed today's meeting agenda and documents. Didn't get much sleep that night due to the storm. Wildcat Creek was really flooding behind my house into the yard the next day. Wednesday, I had a short interview with Brandon Peoples. He called me about the road closures on Highway 24. due to the start of the roundabout. So I had taken a drive up there and through, around and through, trying to figure out the best route from the North County. So I kind of talked about that, so. Just anyway, let's see, and that afternoon I attended the military relations luncheon held at the Holiday Inn campus. And presentation was made by Savannah Lee, the military treatment coordinator for Pawnee Mental Health Services. The presentation was all the services that are available to military members and veterans of the Pawnee Mental Health. Went through all the different kinds of things that they do to help out. Questions came from the audience, quite a few about, how, they have their own treatment programs through the hospital there, and, that TRICARE does not cover Pawnee services. So it's, like a whole, it was really an interesting discussion, but I was really aware of it. And of course, the veterans from were there talking about it too. So later that afternoon, I attended the Westland Business Association meeting at Rocking Caves event space. Presentations were made by Dr. Brian Pete and Major Brad Yeager concerning working with businesses on installing and using the shared technology for cameras and license plate recognition software. Some of the businesses, they're trying to get the businesses to work with them and help in the cost. Because I guess the grant that the police department was going to get from the federal government isn't coming through now. So it's going to be a big cost. I'm sure we'll deal with that at the Walter. Let's see, a second presentation was made by Erin Delgado of the Museum of Art and Light. And she discussed and had a presentation on the interior of the museum and the economic benefit of the museum to the area. It was really neat to see the presentation and get some information on it. So I have not been in there yet, so I'm planning to do that. But they have a lot of memberships available that they're working on selling. And later yesterday, I took a walk with my neighbor and our dogs down to Annenberg Park. It's good to know that the flood detention pond that they had mowed down totally and was off of the creek there was about half full. So it's good to know that it's working. Lots of water still flowing down that creek even this morning. So that's all I have.
Well, Tuesday afternoon was the EMS building update with the contractor. For a short meeting, everything's going well. They're on schedule. It's had a tour afterwards, looking through it. It's looking like a building.
Really is.
No, they're putting epoxy floor down on one end, so we couldn't get in the other end of the building. Then after that meeting, we had a meeting for the emergency management remodel, and the main floor plan is pretty well set. We had a long discussion about installing tornado safe room, different sizes, locations. They had some options that nobody really agreed with. So
Cost.
Some of the costs were outrageous. But discuss location. We got a couple of options. They're supposed to come back with this revised plans and costs to come back on something else that the architect and the contractor work on. Then Tuesday evening was a quarterly fire board meeting. They're working on it. Got a new paging system that they're still trying to, get installed. Well, get coordinated with everybody yet, and discuss the facilities improvements that have been going on. Several stations and progress on the new University Park station, and work on the pickup that they got from Noxious weed, and it's about ready to get moving. So good. Things are going. I'm surprised they got it going that quick, but it's ready to move. That's all I had.
Good. Ready for business, commissioners?
Yeah.
First item I have, I need a motion to accept Larry Larson's resignation and appoint Christopher Degent as Jackson Township trustee.
Okay, I would make a motion to accept Larry Larson's resignation and appoint Christopher Degent as Jackson Township trustee.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to accept Larry Larson's resignation and appoint Christopher Dejan as Jackson County Township trustee. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Larry Larson was a long time county employee, retired from the county
Oh,
in
did
Public
he?
Works.
Mhm.
If I
Next-
remember right, didn't he run for county commission one year?
He did. He did.
Yeah.
Did. Yep, I believe he's doing this because he's now going to grade the roads for them, so.
Oh, did
I hope he did.
I saw
hope he
Larry
did well.
back. Next, Commissioner, need a motion to approve bid proposal submitted by White Star Machinery of Manhattan, Kansas for the 2025 equipment lease program.
So moved.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to award the contract to White Star Machinery for the leased equipment. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioners, Bryant had asked and the department heads didn't have any items for any upcoming, the next potential county officials luncheon. So just if the board has any, let us know and Bryant and Jacob can get it scheduled. Next, Commissioner need a motion to approve, payroll and accounts payable.
I would make a motion to approve the accounts, payroll and accounts payable.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve accounts payable. All in favor?
Aye.
All three, please, both of you please sign. Get John later.
I'll try to get in tomorrow at some point in time and sign everything.
Yep, no problem. Whenever, if you're not feeling well, you can just get it Monday. You. Commissioners, any changes to the minutes?
I didn't have anything.
I didn't have you. I would make a motion to approve the March 31st minutes as written.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the March 31st minutes of meeting as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
No tentative agenda of the commissioners.
Good.
Any items for next week's press conference? Commissioners, we do have policy breakfast coming up Thursday, April 17th at the Doubletree by Hilton. Eric Reed, USD 383 is the speaker that day. Do all of you want to attend?
Please.
Yeah.
Probably.
Jacob?
Yes, sir. I will be there.
I'm going to be watching, Jacob.
Yeah, I have a good record now, I think.
Any idea on Brian?
I think so too.
Sounds good. We'll get that. Get you registered for that. Next, you have Elizabeth Ward at 9 o'clock, commissioners.
Speaking this morning, I said, remember, we're going to track this afternoon. track meet.
Let's go to the track, taking the Challenger
She
out.
gonna race you? Did she challenge you?
Yeah. I went, what?
Hold on, I haven't been practicing.
Well, what? No, I haven't been practicing.
Yeah, you always tell a track season, because sure enough, as soon as track starts, we are gonna get some cold weather, because always the beginning track meets are colder than heck. It's like 30-mile-an-hour winds tomorrow, they're saying north.
Oh, so tired of it.
Granddaughter freshman.
I feel
big track. She's running 100 and 400 in the hurdles, 300 hurdles. Saw her a few times in middle school, but she's real smooth on,
Mhm. Those people that are good at hurdles make it look easy. They're
Yeah.
smooth at it.
Yeah. It's not real easy. I've tried that.
It's not, they're hard.
No, they're hard. I'm gonna try it now. But
Yeah, I love track with my girls running track. It's a lot of fun. We did AAU track and it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
The cold actually makes you run faster.
You think?
Yeah.
It'll warm you up.
Yep,
Warms you up.
makes you want to get out of there quicker, so you
Yeah.
run faster.
Wonder,
I learned that playing baseball.
ramp up though, getting.
Yeah, your muscles are tight.
Try to get warmed up.
Mhm. Tough to get your
Before you
muscles
go in.
warmed up.
Yeah.
Keep them warmed up.
Well, test you as an athlete. That's the whole point.
Mm. One of my youngest did long jump. Middle school, then high school straight to the same kind of soccer. Basketball, she got, but she didn't work on it enough to get her steps down.
Are you gonna be in the
But
one?
junior high when she was
in
doing
next to the,
She was,
on those duplexes?
they had results.
That-
Like, well, she
that
plays
white
in high school.
fence?
Means when she was in eighth grade,
Mhm.
but.
Or so you're, that one over from
She
you,
had track
okay.
from soccer practice, and then she tried to go just to the meet,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
couldn't get it. Just
Yeah.
get her steps down. Okay, that's why she was rebounding basketball, she had springy legs.
Springy legs,
Yeah.
fast twitch muscles.
And like, one is like.
No, I enjoyed track.
She got
Watching the kids do
shelter.
track.
That's just girl.
She was the only one that's been.
What I like about track and wrestling is, you can't blame it on a teammate. Now relays, yeah, and I enjoyed enjoyed running relays myself, but relays, but everything else, it's you.
Good.
So.
How's Diane? Oh, good. I'm enjoying the cooler weather.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I like it, and I'm glad we got the rain.
Yeah, I'm glad about the.
Yeah, it's, I think the individuals that are in what, all people.
That's what I had her. She's gonna,
Oh,
I've got some onions, but
They seem like
yesterday I
yesterday.
I wasn't gonna try to.
I wanted to get mine
I
in
took care
before
of
that
it,
rain. I
so
knew it
that's
was
a
coming. I
blessing.
didn't get it done. I am going to go out there and get them stuck in there tonight.
Poking the mud.
Yeah, because there's more rain coming, and then I won't get them in, this weekend. So I'm gonna go in and stick them in, because they grow so quick, and we really enjoy fresh green onions. So picked up a couple bags at Baumgart's the other day, with bulbs,
I used to change
On part of it.
sets.
a little sad.
For that, you know.
Yeah.
Involved, I did for,
It's kind of hard to just.
which last year had nothing, we just gotta go, we're not using up the last ones from last year,
Really.
so.
Yeah.
And we don't have, some of them, because we don't really have a cool.
Yeah,
we don't have
especially
basements, we don't
in
have.
the winters.
Scroll,
I'm not going outside, but you
Shop building, it's kind of cool, so keep it in there, wrap it with some newspaper over so they don't get it, it's light up, and they start sprouting.
Yeah.
The last month they started.
That's what my dad does.
Yeah, we should-
Not
Basement.
you know, I have to get all this stuff done.
Yeah. That's fair. I know, I try to get up at 5:45. That's what I do. And then once I finally move,
Well, I think that's Michelle.
that,
Yeah. You're right.
yeah. I think so.
And then do you like go work out or something
Gonna
crazy?
try to. I have bought a bench, something to build my own home
Oh.
again, but I can't.
Nice.
Yeah, I get to move 2 months early.
I heard you announce it the other day. Congratulations. I'm excited for you.
I
I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. Good. So you can just swing by, pick each other up, little,
A little
Get a
dog,
little-
we have dogs that are similar.
good. You guys can do some carpooling. It'll be great.
There's a whole bunch of dogs in there.
Well, that's nice. I mean, if you're a
As long
dog
as they're
person,
friendly.
that's nice. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's-
Yeah, so is mine.
He's so
Some-
sweet.
Mine's just curious, and nosy. Like he's super friendly, but he wants to be in everybody's stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a lab. That's kind of their.
Yeah. My sister, she has a beagle and that thing, he's very lovable, but the most mischievous dog I've ever met in before. He got out once in our neighborhood and he just was running everywhere. And you
Yeah.
couldn't, he'd wait for you to get close and then you just. hit
Oh,
on.
gosh, I used to have
So
to
you
like
had
that.
I had to.
Red.
Epic jump.
Like a tackle
Yeah,
situation.
exactly.
What was that?
I used to have to- I used to have to just run.
Start over.
John, you're not muted.
Yeah, yeah, right.
One time he ran away, his family lived in Nebraska, he ran away, he was like in the other side of another county. I'm like, and then I think that was the day my husband went and picked him up at the vet clinic, because it's rural.
Yeah.
He was just disgusting, so I put him in the back of the truck. And he stayed back there the whole time until he got back into town, stopped at a stoplight, jumped out and ran again.
Oh,
That was kind of the end of that, having that dog, so.
yeah. Yeah, ooh.
Yeah, he was a rescue and he was, again, loving and sweet, but just would not stay home.
Go.
Yeah,
And look at this.
and then usually it was not like,
Oh, the
Yes,
first
I
thing
did,
will be.
but he was- that was.
I actually did mine last meeting. I never do it ahead of time
Yeah,
like that, but I actually
about
caught
that
it for
stuff,
some
it was just
reason.
like, there was no, that was
It's like
it.
you want to try to work with it.
Yeah. And it's legitimate, like, I mean, I always tell people, all I need is a dog that's loyal. I can put up with a lot. Just loyal.
I don't know if anybody's been paying attention, but K-State baseball, number 22 in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, they about let a big lead yesterday slip away.
Yeah, they did. Their relief pitching's something of a anomaly at this point in time, but let's hope we get that figured out.
Yeah, better because KU's coming up and they're legitimate.
Yeah.
Be very legitimate, yeah.
In Lawrence this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We did beat that team up to the north there.
I was waiting for
Sorry,
you to-
Elizabeth, but
I did you watch it, John?
I did watch it, yeah.
It was a good game, wasn't it? I just heard the recap that.
Well, it was the same thing. Built a big lead and then our relief pitching kind of tried to give it away. So yeah. Need to head out there and watch a few games this year. I think a couple Friday nights here in April and May might be on my calendar when I get a little bit better.
Yeah, we were thinking the same thing. Thing is, with baseball season, you can just really miss it and end up so cold in that stadium. And the way it's built, like if the sun, I don't know, as soon as that sun goes down, it can get.
Yep, the center field lines, left field, right field are all to the north, so you feel
Yeah.
that north wind pretty quick.
Yeah,
Mhm. Try playing on that field.
but it is fun to go to a baseball game in great weather.
Mhm. Very family oriented on Friday night, so
Mhm.
I would tell you that's the night to go.
Oh, that's good to know, yeah.
Yep.
My 7-year-old has been wanting, saying we should go to baseball, which I don't know what spurred the idea, but I said, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you got a smart 7-year-old. That's what you
I
got.
guess, absolutely. There's definitely worse things he could be asking to do. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure.
John, do you know about those junior Wildcat program? Have you heard of
I
that?
do.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, I got him signed up for this year, and I guess wasn't really tracking it before, but it's so fun and it's so kid oriented and yeah.
I did it when I was playing baseball, and Mike Clark, who was the coach at the time, was really good friends with Tommy Lasorda, who
Oh,
was then the coach, and went through the Dodgers organization. He's long since passed away, but he came and talked to us a couple of years after they had won the World Series in 1998, right here in
oh my
Manhattan.
gosh, that's so cool.
Mhm.
That's so cool.
Mhm.
Minnesota.
And had the personality in person as he did on TV too, I might add.
I bet that was a really good impression for a bunch of young guys.
Yes. Still not a Dodgers fan, of course, but yeah, had some good stories from the 40s and the 50s and during the golden age of Major League Baseball. Man, I'm getting old.
I don't really know what kind of perspective that is. You are not old.
I feel it today, believe me.
Michael.
It's all an attitude.
Mhm. I have that too.
My
So,
daughter's 6 months old.
Oh, really?
I guess that puts it in perspective.
you're not helping, Greg. Thank you.
I don't know. Val Kilmer passed away this week and he was
Mhm.
65. And my first thought was, man, that's so young. So maybe my perspective is different.
That's what I think.
Well, my mom just passed away in November and she was 69. So I was
Yeah.
thinking about that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are young ages still.
Mhm. He had a lot of health issues later on in life though too. So
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
feel bad for him and his family.
Mhm.
Didn't like him in Top Gun, the original one, but played some
I don't
good
think we're
roles in some
supposed
other
to.
movies.
Yeah.
He played his part well.
I liked him in
Did.
the most recent Top Gun. He's played a good part there and whatever.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mhm. So like the original better.
Yeah, well,
It was still a good movie, though.
It was, really was for a sequel. Yeah.
Hard to find a good movie nowadays.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the Iceman.
the
Mhm.
Iceman, yeah.
It's not how call signs work, by the way. You never get cool.
Come on.
Maverick or the Iceman.
Oh, they get some really ridiculous, like my daughter, some of the people she knows, their call signs are like horrible.
Oh, yeah, that's how that really works.
Yeah.
It's pretty much your worst quality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Bob, I guess in the new one they did hit on it, the guy had a call sign, with Bob.
Well, well, they're not signs that your mother would call you by. That's the thing. They're not names like that. So.
I think Commissioner Ford had just recently posted that in Back to the Future, it's like an 85, and they went back to 1955, and that's the equivalent of us now going back to
To 85?
1985 or something. Kind of creepy.
Oh my gosh, people are paying attention.
Yeah.
Good old Marty McFly. Do you know there's actually a DeLorean of that same model? I don't know if it's still there, but at the car museum.
I heard that too, yeah.
Yeah, the guy that designed that was out in Wichita for a while, but there's a guy that designs many of those, and he also does the Ghostbusters car. He's pretty famous for doing the car. He did,
Mhm. Been over at Salina at theirs too.
Ready for Elizabeth, commissioners?
Yeah, all right. Commissioners, good morning. Elizabeth Ward, Human Resources Director, and I'm here for my regular monthly update. So just kind of go through some of the basic things that we generally hit on. Just a quick reminder here, these are the things that we understand our mission to be at Riley County, what we're focusing on. And generally, HR sees itself as furthering the mission of the county or the mission of the organization through people, policy and process. And so that's really should be our goal and what we can be held accountable to. So as far as recruitment and retention, our current just numbers to throw at you is we've got 283 regular employees and we're sitting at 353 of those stipend, mostly stipend, but some interns in there as well, and seasonal will be coming up. So the last time we spoke was January, so I'm just kind of putting some numbers together for February and March. So February and March, we had 7 new hires and we had 6 separations for various reasons. And so then as we look through the current year, which would be January, February, March, those same numbers are 10 new hires and 10 separations. So we're sitting pretty even for the year. On the other side, you can see that also fairly even, right? We've got the 9 new hires and 16 separations, which is common this time of the year. You know, we're going to be doing some audits and cleaning up some old volunteer firefighters and elections and people that, you know, may not be active any longer. So that's reflected there. Our turnover rate is 21.6. And I know maybe Greg, you were tracking some of these, but this is ticking up slightly throughout the last 6 to 8 months. Which then of course means our average tenure is ticking down slightly. And so this is actually right now it's 8.9, just for reference. So yeah.
Does that include the temporary election?
It is not. No, this is that number, the 21.6 and the average tenure are only on our regular employees. And it, remember, is a 12-month cycle. So it's not just for 2025, but it's from April 1 to April 1. We do have quite a few openings for us right now. You know, for other organizations, we stay really low, but we do have 8 current openings that don't include our evergreen positions like, you know, the seasonal and whatnot. But we've got a couple parks, public works, which includes parks, EMS, community corrections, health department, and appraiser. But we have made some progress on some of those, and Michelle has been actively interviewing. And so I think there might be some closure on the health department positions. And she's got just recently got some closure on the public works position that had been difficult to fill. So that was great. The appraiser is more of a challenge there. They've got 2 positions, and particularly that appraisal supervisor is going to be difficult for Anna to fill. So she's looking at some options there, and she does have some ideas on how to think about it a little bit differently. So performance and development, so employee enrichment really is the goal there. We continue our supervisor training, highly effective managers. That's the once a month. With a group of about 15 employees across different departments. We are planning for Employee Day 2025. So there's a planning committee working on that actively. And then Michelle leads the onboarding committee. They did develop some changes to onboarding last year. And so they're really looking at that phase 2 improvements, trying to bring all of that together. And the goal there is really to hire and retain high performing employees. And onboarding is shown to be one of the main indicators on whether or not if we hit onboarding well and we bring the person into the organization and we make them feel like a part of the organization from the beginning all the way through, it does help retain employees. A little bit more employee enrichment. These are some of the programs that they're smaller, but they're, I think, highly impactful. So we did have a CAPERS retirement seminars, multiple seminars on February 11th. And that was really geared for people who are retiring within the next 3 to 5 years. We had a little over 60 employees attend and get that information. Michelle is working with the CAPERS Advisory Council. So that is something internal to CAPERS. It's different than the legislative process that we were working with last year. But they are looking at saying, okay, we've got to do some things internally to get back up to speed. So she's going to go to that first meeting next Friday. Michelle also has planned some CAPERS 457 seminars. So similar to the CAPERS, did plan some 457 seminars. So similar to CAPERS, but now with 457, which is really more the employees portion of their retirement planning, but it's a huge asset. So we had quite a few people meet one-on-one with Scott Kober that day. And then she's planning Medicare Basics seminar. And Extension is going to present that. And I think they've got a really great resource with that. We've done some other lunch and learns with Extension, and I hope that's going to be really useful for employees. Medicare is confusing, complicated, multi-tiered program. I mean, maybe you are aware of that, but every time that we have employees retiring, you know, they're trying to make that transition, particularly trying to figure out Part B. So I think it's going to be a good good option for that. We are trying to target that with people who are retiring again within the next 5 years. Generally, we have some people who have farther out retirement dates that want to participate, and we're not saying no, but things are going to change in the next 10, 15, 20 years. So
Years.
yeah, it's great to be planning though. So we're not going to limit anybody, but we are going to try to encourage those that are expecting. So some of the ongoing projects that we're working on, we are working with fire to complete an I-9 audit. There were several volunteer firefighters who maybe had an error or weren't quite complete with their I-9s, and they are required to have the full I-9 completed. Michelle, in the last month, has conducted 9 interview rounds. So those are going to be multiple interviews to select a candidate with 6 different departments. So you can imagine, the commitment that takes with that. I'm really excited about this driver DQ partnership. So it's really a service supplied by Conza Labs. We've been using Conza Labs for years for multiple different things. But what they've kind of kicked off is the DOT, kind of a third-party administrator. And so they will do all of the return to duty, the random testing management, and they'll help us with that FMSCA clearinghouse requirements and just make sure that everything is compliant and timely. So like other government programs, this is a complicated program. It's not that it just has a lot of steps, and then all of our CDL drivers are required to do those things throughout the year.
Elizabeth, I have
ma'am.
one question. What are the second item there? Conduct 9 interview rounds with 6 departments. What are you interviewing the department heads, or what?
No, those are interviews for open positions.
For a position.
Yes, yeah. So we have however many positions open every month, and then HR participates. That's a big place where you can have some risk for hiring legally, and so HR participates with all of those, and so that's something we're actively doing.
Because it was under employee enrichment, and you just didn't.
Okay, yeah, I guess the title from the last one. These are more
Yeah.
these are more things that we have working in HR.
Okay.
Same thing with the fire files. I mean, that's more for the county, to make sure that we're compliant.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Legal conference, we spent some time at a legal conference getting some updates, which there were quite a few things in motion, fluctuating just with the legal environment that we're currently in. We had some great career fairs. So Blue Valley, I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but they have a really amazing career fair for high school students. They invite Wakefield, Riley County, Manhattan Catholic, and Blue Valley schools, and they really do junior high clear through high school, and they get students really thinking about college, careers, jobs available. They do a whole hands-on section where people have to go through and say, okay, well, you're given a ticket, you're married and have 2 kids, you need to buy a car, you have this job is your salary, and so they really put them through an opportunity to think about what life will look like after college. And it's I think very worthwhile for Riley County to start thinking about potential jobs here. We also participated with Hutchinson Community College. Josh from EMS went and represented Riley County, and then Washburn Tech, we had Diane and Jacob went and represented Riley County. There was more of a healthcare focus on that one, and Hutch has very good EMS program. So, and let's see. These are the ongoing projects that take a little bit longer. So FMLA is shifting to electronic filing so that it'll be easier access and less storage space. Fire personnel in their move to their new building, we realized they have 2 full filing cabinets of very old personnel files. And so we are going to transfer those electronically. We've kind of worked with fire and IT to set up a kind of a temporary scanning station so that we don't have to carry those back and forth across the buildings. And so we'll work on that before they get moved. We do have all of the personnel budgets out to all of the departments, and some of them are already back and finished. Others we continue to meet together. We've got a couple meetings this week set up to just make sure that we're on the right page with their personnel budgets. We're monitoring, like I mentioned earlier, monitoring those policy changes. There's been quite a few. So we just want to stay on top of that, how that might affect our employment law. You had all approved that DLTS training services for Public Works, and so we have started contracting with them. We have some agreements in place with 2 of our employees and starting to putting those on the calendar so that we can get them trained. And then we are doing another round. Every year we do FMLA supervisor training because there is a pretty clear responsibility from the employer and from the government standpoint, the supervisors represent the employer. If they, if they give direction or if they don't report FMLA, we as a whole could be, well, we have some risk in that to make sure that we are compliant. So we want to make sure everybody has that knowledge. I know you guys have heard this number, but I just wanted to put it in to the presentation. So the CPIU for 2024, December to December, is running at 2.7. This is just policy, so I pulled it as we would every year to kind of let you be aware of where we're at. You can see 2025 is coming out January, February, but a little bit different. But per policy, what we've been using, at least to present to you, is that the previous years. So that has been built into the presentations for the personnel budgets. And obviously you'll get both numbers with and without COLA. So just kind of keep that on your radar. And then last time I was here, January, you had asked me to work on committees, and I did get pretty comprehensive list from all departments on committees. And so it's interesting. It's not simple, right? So as I got them in, I thought, okay, so now how can the commissioners use this information? So I tried to start separating them into the name of the committee, the employees that participate, which obviously some are in all different departments, the purpose, and then how often they meet. And so you'll get a full list of that, but as an overview, we have 56 internally managed, meaning that we have created it and it either is focused on solely Riley County or it is a internal program meant for the community, but we manage it and hold the meetings. Does that make sense? So particularly, I think like in health department or community corrections, they have committees or coalitions that they've created for the
Does that
community.
include all of our advisory boards, Elizabeth? I'm sorry.
That's an interesting point. It does not include the advisory boards, so it maybe should add that. And then we have 37. So when I say externally managed, those are committees or coalitions that exist externally for the community, state, community or state that our employees participate in. So I will get you, John, are you suggesting I perhaps add that information? I could easily, I think, get that from Cindy Gabriel in the clerk's office.
Yes, please.
Okay, I will get that and add it. And then I guess I don't know how exactly to present it in a really clear format. I have it in an Excel spreadsheet. I will give you that information, but it's pages.
No,
so.
do that in some kind of a PDF because Excel doesn't print off very well on the printer.
Yeah, I get that's right. Yeah, I'll put it into a PDF so that it prints appropriately. And
Is there any way to track how much time is actually spent by our employees in these various committees, especially the external ones?
yes,
That was going to be my question too.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of the next layer, but I do now have how often the committee meets. And I definitely could add to that how long, generally I'm guessing most are an hour, but there may be some that are, because some meet quarterly or biannually, maybe they're a bit longer. And then it's pretty simple math after that.
Well, and if they also have to spend other time away from their regular job.
Right, for the planning.
On these committees would be.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just have to ask the departments to self-report that and we can put it together.
Seems like a lot.
It is, but remember, I mean, you said regular job, a lot of these committees is part of the regular
Yes,
job.
Yeah, and that'll be good for you to look at
It's
because
related to Riley County.
yeah, some of
No, it'd
them,
be good to, that's why, see the list.
right, and that's why I thought it was important too to get the purpose of the committee on there for you because to help understand how it does directly relate. And again, I mentioned the health department, but I think that's a really good example of external coalition, which is how you promote your services and get them out into the community. Yeah.
We do a lot.
Yeah.
Especially like health promotions, Shanika Rose, she's on a lot of committees. Because it helps promote and it helps organize different other agencies in the community to go out and do the work. So we're on a lot of committees.
Yeah. And I think that'd be true for other like community corrections and anyone who needs to push it out. And actually, like even Michael, you sitting here, you are on some outward facing committees and lead some because that's again promoting your information. So it will help you a lot to see the purpose and then maybe make some assessments from there. Okay. So, sorry, John, did you have something?
No, we're good.
All right, so what I'm hearing is I need to add some time commitment and I need to get the advisory boards on there. Anything else you guys can think of at the moment? We can continue to kind of drill down information as you see it.
It's a work in progress, that's for sure.
Agreed.
Good start.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, all right, sounds good. Well, if you think of anything else you need from HR, please let us know.
Time for Mr. Bowler, commissioners.
Well, good morning, Commissioners. Mike Bowler with the Riley County Noxious Weed HHW staff update. I've got a couple of action items at the end of this, and I do have some interesting things this month. This is a busy time of month for us. To kind of segue from what we were discussing on different committees, just an example for us is we're part of the Big Lakes Regional HHW. Now, that's not Riley County is a part of that, but of course, I'm the administrator of the Big Lakes HHW, so there's a lot of time that I would put into that committee, but we're pretty directly involved, so that's just kind of an example that we were alluding to there just a second ago. But let's hop into our staff update. So our spring spraying has begun this month. We were a little concerned about getting some bare ground done this year, but we have found time to get that done. We are still down a full spray truck. So we're working with half of our equipment right now, but it's on order and should be here soon. So hopefully we'll get that up and running. But we have started with bare ground work. We're also going to start on solid spraying. Last fall, we usually do 2/3 of the county, and last fall we weren't able to do solid spraying, so we're doing a little catch up this spring on solid spraying, doing well. Spring seeding projects on the county right of ways began March 21st. Public Works had crews busy over the fall and winter cleaning up ditches, and then we come in behind them. And so we had 36 areas at least throughout the county that we needed to put down some grass seed. So we've just completed that as of yesterday. So that's all done. So we're ahead of schedule on that. We do currently have a full stock of cost share chemical. It's spring and it's that time of year for cost share chemical to be sold. I am very grateful that I still see that the market continues to be steady or actually fall on prices. And so we're very delighted to be able to have chemical on hand and it's at a reasonable rate. We do also offer rental sprayers. We're one of the few counties in the state that provides that service. The feedback on that is really tremendous. The Kansas Department of Ag always mentions us for providing that service. That's not necessarily cheap for us to do or easy for us to do, but we do have rental sprayers for that. And that's kind of a feather in our hat for providing that service. So those are all up and running and ready to go. County roadside mowing will begin probably in May. I'm delighted to let the commissioners know we did just receive our new Case tractor 2 days ago. And I would like to thank each and every one of the commissioners for having the insight in providing that new tractor, because I can't begin to explain how bad it is when we have equipment that wears out and it breaks down at the base of a ravine. Every part on a tractor is this big. And so that can put us back easily a week to do that. So thank you sincerely. My staff and I would like to thank you for providing us good quality equipment. And we did just get a new tractor. So we're excited about our new tractor and mower to try that out. On the HHW side, April the 12th is going to be our next clean out, second Saturday of the month, if you can remember that, from 8 to noon. Again, that is a wildly popular event. We generally have 60 to 80 people this time of year come out and drop the items off. Clean Harbors conducted our clean out of our facility in March. I'm delighted to let you know that we did finally get rid of our cyanide, and that was a big deal. They were wanting to bring out 2 teams, a rescue team and a backup team, and a 5th rescue in Class A respiration to move that stuff. So we had to get a profile for it, and it took us a while, but we were able to talk them out of the 5 members in Class A respiration to come out and move it. But we've got it off of our facility now. And hopefully we won't see another 20 pounds of that for a while. So I'm grateful to have that taken care of. Regional training for HHW operators will be conducted in cooperation with Martin County Community College. That training will take place in April, and we'll have it in the Riley County Public Works, and we also do a training at our facility. All HHW folks that run a facility and are trained in the state of Kansas actually come through our facility for training. So it's a great opportunity for us to do that. And then an update on the Bala project. Clean Harbors did conduct phase 1 at the Bala site on March 27th. The hazardous barrels were successfully overpacked and soil samples of the burn pit were taken. We're at kind of a bit of a standstill. The issue is DOT has very strict standards on knowing specifically what a chemical is before we can transport it. And when we have 9 barrels of unknowns, that makes it fairly difficult. But I have reached out to MFD, and they've got a spectral analyzer that was paid for with 9/11 money. And we can take samples of this chemical and hopefully be able to build a profile a little quicker. If not, building a profile can take 4 to 5 months, unfortunately. So I'm hoping to maybe speed this process up and maybe save us a little money in the process. And MFD has agreed to help us out with trying to figure out what this chemical is. So with that, that's kind of my staff update, and I stand for any questions. Again, it's springtime. Last meeting, I proudly announced that spring was here because henbit was blooming, and 2 days later we had a snowstorm, but henbit is in full bloom. The mushrooms are popping, so I'm going to proclaim that spring is now officially here.
You know, the latest meteorology report that I just heard earlier this week came in and said he expects a very cool spell mid-April.
Yeah, it's maybe
And
some
he
snow.
also said our highest snowfall totals are in April.
Oh,
It is March.
well, Rich, you.
Well, on a lighter note, Mike, can you provide us with some duckweed recipes?
On duckweed, no duckweed, but they are doing research on duckweed and how prolific it grows and how it could still be the food of the future. So it is a thing.
Oh, there's hope.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's hope, but I will try to learn my lesson about talking about spring being here, but probably not.
You've been in
With-
Kansas enough, Mike. You should know that already.
With that, if you have no questions about that, I'd like to go into my first action item. And the background on this is we sell cost share chemical, and occasionally we have folks that for whatever reason don't pay for the chemical in which they got to treat ground in Riley County. In this particular case, we had believe it's right around $180 worth of chemical that was sold. We have a process we need to go through to include a certified letter to mail to this individual and let them know that they have not paid for said chemical. After 1 year, then we put a 10% fee onto that. I put several additional steps into that. I reached out to this individual personally, tried to knock on their door several times to get them to cooperate and pay for said chemical. When they don't, there is a very specific statute for the sale of cost share chemical for this very particular problem that has only arisen once in the 7 years that I've been here. But we are here. This individual has not responded to my certified letter, which is a requirement in order to enact a statute. And so I have taken the necessary steps, and I am proposing that we put a $204.16 property lien on this property. I have contacted our council and have filed the appropriate paperwork. And so I will be filing with blessing of the commission that paperwork with the clerk's office and I believe the register of deeds both. But I wanted to become in front of the commission and explain to you what my intentions are. If you had any questions about that, and if not, if you were in favor for it, I would ask that we move forward with the motion that I filed the appropriate paperwork to collect that debt on the chemical.
I just want to point out one thing. We fought 2.5 years to get a nuisance abatement act to clean up property because we didn't have a statute in place to cover these type of things. But we've had a statute in place all along to cover chemicals, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with this. I just find it interesting what's good and what's bad, apparently.
Well, what's interesting is the noxious weed laws were started out and were very, very important in the early days of the state of Kansas, and these laws have been in place from the very beginning. And so, yeah, there is that, but
You don't need to defend it, Mike. I'm just
yes, sir. Yeah, I understand.
Good, only second time in 7 years.
just curious about where priorities lie sometimes.
Right, yeah, and this has been a problem that the commissioners need to understand in the ag community. We do provide chemical, generally they pay for it at the end of the year. That's how it works. It may seem a little odd, but we've never had this problem before. And in order for me to find the paperwork, the last time that this happened, to give an example, the noxious weed department still had an address on Anderson Avenue. So that gives you an idea when the last time it happened, but it occasionally happens. But it's really not an issue. There's a statute for it and it's pretty straightforward how we do it.
Wish there were statutes straightforward for a lot of different things.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Yes, sir.
that's true.
Different.
This is crazy. Does he farm up there or?
He does. I think there's been some personal hard times on this individual. I don't believe, well, I'm not going to speak to, but suffice it to say, he has no intention to pay, or I think he has the means. I just don't think he has the intention to pay. I'll leave it at that.
Well, I would make a motion to approve the filing of the attached legal document for the county clerk and register of deeds for the collection of debt by a tax lien on this particular property.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve filing of the attached legal document with county clerk and register of deeds for collection of debt via a tax lien. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, commissioners. One just last item I have. This is more of an administrative deal. Every year I come before you with the 2024 annual report and then the 2025 management plan. The annual report is a result of the surveys that I take throughout the county. I survey 10 sections of ground. I come up with a mathematical formula to give us an idea of where we stand with infestation of noxious weeds in the state of Kansas. I then submit that to the Kansas Department of Ag. And then I also provide a management plan. One thing in the management plan, as an example, would be that we as a county provide rental sprayers for those to fight the battle against noxious weed. They are fairly straightforward reports. They are reports that I've come before you every year, but they do require the signature of the county commissioners that I presented them to you and that you've had an opportunity to read them and understand them and relay any questions you may have to me. But I can tell you on our annual report, we're pretty standard where we've been in the past. Noxious weed, as I've told you, Mother Nature controls to a certain degree what we had last year. We had a little more musk thistle in our county than we've had in the past. Really doesn't speak so much to our treatment of it as it does just ideal conditions. This year, we've had a wet, cool spring. I can assure you, we're going to have great vegetation this year in our ditches, both good and bad. Our brome will be nice and green, but our bindweed will probably be equally as green as well. So those do affect those things. But it does stand as a barometer of where we're at, that we are not having an explosion of this problem. So I would ask that the commissioners make a motion to sign both the management plan and the annual report, so I can submit them to ADA. Or if there's any questions about these particular. They do also list, you know, our sales, our chemical sales, the amount we sold. There's a lot of interesting information if you ever want to know, you know, what it costs, where we're at. It even lists salaries, employees, years of service. Anything you've ever wanted to know about the noxious weed department is in the annual report.
That actually might be good information to pass along, at least to the public, Mike.
Yeah, and it's all right here, Commissioner. Everything, like I just mentioned, this is all our chemical sales, the numbers, everything. What we've
Yeah.
treated, estimated acreage of noxious weeds from townships, private property. It's all right there. This is all the results of my survey. These are the herbicides we distributed. So from
I
everything,
actually found it interesting, even though I'm not a noxious weed person. So I got to think there's some other nerds out there like myself.
yeah, well, what's interesting is the KDA, this is important to them and they require us to be very, very specific. And so it's nice the public can see that any specific question they have, I can answer off the annual report.
Good deal.
That's everything except for his inaccurate meteorological.
And no duck feed
Oh,
recipes.
for one on that.
In motion, commissioners?
Well, let's say I would make a motion to approve the 2024 annual report and the 2025 management plan from the noxious weed department.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the 2024 annual report and 2025 management plan for noxious weed. All in favor?
Aye.
Both please sign. Huge Mike, great question.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And it's time for missing person.
Okay. Good morning, Commissioners. Anna Burst with the Riley County Appraiser's Office here to present the monthly staff update. So with personal property, also our appraisal support, it's kind of what we're more commonly referring to them as. Here lately, they're processing changes and setting values for the renditions that were returned by the property owners. They're also setting values for all personal property with no changes. They're assisting with updating and managing our digital process for the various residential phases. And they're preparing for hearings and managing the workflow of the requests, what they've been doing for this last month. Also, they are preparing to mail personal property notice of values. Those are scheduled to go out April 29th. And those personal property, they have until May 15th to appeal the notice of values for personal property. On agricultural use, 273 agricultural properties are due for annual reinspection this year. The ag appraiser is working through sales of the ag land as they're received. Also verifying ag use of properties who failed to return those questionnaires that went out last year. Our ag appraiser is conducting informal appeals that involve ag land or challenges to classification. On the residential side of things, we have 105 residential sales to date, with that median sale price sitting at $240,500 with an average sale price of $263,366. Currently, that sales ratio so far for this year, again, this is sales that have not yet been reviewed by the appraisers, so they're not validated, is roughly 93%. Once we start validating, that number will change. Sales will remain unvalidated until after that certification in June. There are 70 new permits for 2025 and 286 permit rechecks from 2024 reviews. Residential team has begun annual review. They're conducting 2025 appeals and completing field inspections as needed. We have 2 pending small claims appeals from the first half of the 2024 PUPs. Our commercial team is working through annual review, conducting appeals, and preparing for the Board of Tax Appeals hearings. There are 7 commercial sales to date. For 2025, this is a summary. I ran the numbers on Tuesday morning. The last day for a property owner to request an appeal was last Friday. And so this number is fairly accurate. There was only a few corrected notices that went out after the original mail date. And so they had a couple days longer to appeal. So 439 total informal appeals, 9 agricultural, 46 commercial, 8 farm home sites, and 314 residential and 60 vacants. On the residential side of things, just be mindful that that's also going to include any apartment buildings. Commercial properties are also part of that when it's multifamily, 5 units or greater. And so some of that also is in the residential count. On the Board of Tax Appeals side of things, there is not a lot of change besides one formerly docketed residential case that was docketed for BOTA, they have dismissed. And so that one is no longer on the list. And so this is the last update with updated dates of hearings and such. This next, the next 2 pages are pending real estate exemption applications that are at BOTA. So this is everything that is currently pending for the Board of Tax Appeals to render a decision on. For the 2025 valuation, that is over 50 million. $72,860 pending. And then you can see the prior years, the valuations that's still pending for those exemptions. With other projects, we're working on our budgets, open positions, hearings and training, and just legislation, watching closely what's going on with legislation, being available to answer questions. As it pertains to legislation, holding hearings, with that recent retirement, I'm conducting a large share of the informal hearings for residential properties, and doing training on holding those residential hearings. Additionally, I've a special project that I was working on here in the last week was to assist Commissioner Ford with getting more information as it relates to exemptions. And what I presented to you guys last month on exemptions in Riley County, we still had 2 very large exemptions that were pending. Those have since been decided and exempted. And so with the new calculations, I mean, when you look at the assessed valuation after that, 70% of the property tax burden is on residential property owners. And so 23% of that, just under 23.5% of the tax burden is on commercial. And that is because just under 40% of the appraised value is exempt in Riley County. And so that's just additional information. I provided a little bigger breakdown to Commissioner Ford for something he has going on. If you'd like that information, Catherine or Greg, just let me know. I'll be happy to forward it to you as well. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't have any questions, but I did want to say thank you, Anna, for providing that information. It's going to be useful in a couple of presentations that I'm giving upcoming.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna. Have a good weekend. Next Commissioner of Shiloh at 9:45. Morning, ladies. How you doing? Good. Got your back up today, huh?
Like your tie, Greg.
It's Abbey Road.
Cool. I couldn't see that part. I just like the color.
What is it?
That's awesome.
You can see the S and P's down 4%.
Hmm?
The S and P's down 4%.
That's pretty major.
No.
Gonna happen for a while.
Yeah, so it seems.
Huh?
Said so it seems.
Just saying, if you're buying cheap, so you gotta look at it.
There you go.
When the masses are doing one thing, you wanna do the opposite.
Right.
That is like a perfect explanation of the way you see the way you handle it. Do the opposite of what the masses are doing. If they're all moving to town, move to country.
Ready? Good morning, Commissioners. Shiloh Hager, Riley County Treasurer. I am here regarding an open position that I have in my office. Haven't been here since, I think, July. I think we hired our last employee, but we did have an employee leave in November, towards the end of November. December is usually one of our slower months with motor vehicle, and January and February are very difficult to train motor vehicle during heavy truck and commercial season, because that's kind of its own animal for itself. So we've kind of been holding off. I've been holding off to come to you about filling this position. We're getting into the heavier part of our renewal seasons will started here in March. Also vacation schedules are a lot heavier over the summer months in my office. So between vacations and whatnot, we just need to make sure we're covering all of our services that we currently provide. So therefore, I'm here to ask for permission to go ahead and advertise and fill this position. This will be a customer service rep 1 position, and the 2025 budget for this was actually for a customer service rep 2, because that's the person that left in November was a CSR 2, so it'll actually have a less impact on the budget because it's going to be a lower graded position. But for that, I would stand for any questions.
Well, I would make a motion, the Board of County Commissioners approve the request to fill this position.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the request to fill the position in the treasurer. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote please sign.
I would just mention, I'm really optimistic about getting some really great candidates. Kimberly, recently came from PennBath and she's been reaching out. There's a second round of buyouts for the USDA, and there's a lot of administrative staff in our labor pool right now. So I'm excited for possibilities.
I know Shiloh and I have had some conversations about this particular position and what it would do and how it will help in the long term. So feeling good about it too.
And I will just mention, we are still working really hard with the legislature on the fees. So, it's not looking very promising for this session because I think they're just going to come back and try to just wrap it up. But it is the beginning of a 2-year cycle. So we still got irons in the fire. We're still talking to people. And so I'm still optimistic that we are going to get additional funding for motor vehicle sometime in the future.
I think
But-
one good thing too is I'm thinking that there's going to be an interim committee dealing with tax exemption that's going to take place hopefully over the summer and in between sessions. And so there'll be a lot of opportunity to talk about what could be good and what could be bad. And this could be one of those conversations that could be talked about as what could be good to help that situation too.
Good.
John or any of our local representatives gonna be on that?
We're talking about that currently. That's all I can say on it.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, commissioners. Have a great day.
Good weekend.
You too.
Next commissioner, do you have Amanda Webb at 10? Amanda's gonna be here since she's not feeling well.
A lot of that's going around apparently.
I think she said in the last email.
Can you check to see if Amanda's gonna be here? I heard she's not feeling
Her
well.
email said she hadn't been Zoom.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Bye. Yeah, so you have a bit of a break until not Bryant, but Jacob at 10:15.
Yeah.
I know this is going to sound kind of gross, but I think I've thrown up more in the last 2 days than I have in recent memory.
Oh, you really got it.
Yeah. I think I threw up some Reese's Pieces that I ate when I was about 4. My soul's completely gone.
Oh, no fun.
Oh, TMI.
TMI.
I like to do that from time to time. Sorry.
Last year, during your. Thank you. Pretty good. Good idea. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Nice and tender.
I didn't want people to do this.
That's the key. That's the key. Volunteer came up this year.
Yeah.
That's what mine
I was
always.
cleaning out that patch. And then, yeah, what happened? There's a whole pile of weeds right this one. So I started picking it up. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Because it kind of looks like. It kind of looks like in bit with first, a little bit, the leaf.
Yep.
Then I went, wait a minute.
My wall and there's some, there's kind of, it always gets the.
Because it didn't do much about here. It just kind of sat there. And it's, yeah, I don't know. Well, nice to meet you. One of those we got. High school, yeah, it's a base. I still have, it had 6 backpacks, meters in it all the time.
Hey, Diane, I'm all right. How about you? All settled in? Yeah, we got some time. You want to talk about it?
Yeah.
It's probably got that.
Starting out with a lot of them.
But we use, you know. But then you sweet. That's true.
Oh, so I guess, you know, some new play. Tonight.
Okay.
Get my rain taken up.
Yeah, I think. It's like, I couldn't get what I said. I had, went out there and looked at it. I did it blow that? Yesterday afternoon, I went out there to check and see if there was another one. Driveway. This one was just a glass tube that says nothing. Bottom broke. You know, I think really the winter, you know, was, and the other was bigger. Pulled it outside, couldn't hose and filled it out. Got a lot of drip on, but one of it's, they can't grip it and get driven. There's a little spot, it just looks like a blemish in plastic. It's a little bitty on right around. Yesterday, I got, I looked at it. It looks like just. It was. Take them down.
I was gonna put mine down that night. And speaking of, I put it out the night before that rain. And the one thing I didn't get done. My son brought me some chicks from the guy at work. 5 and 3 daughters raised up to such a point they had my kids. I just think that the chicken coop, getting it out of mom, give water and food to them. How many you got about that?
What's it? I got 2 weeks. And one's a couple of Sweden. So big, the other one, they talk about being a pencil, I swear that's all bad. It's not like
Some of them just are really thin.
but
You guarantee those ones are usually always thicker.
yeah.
I've seen a lot of times they say those would be covered. You're. Pretty nice. Offshoot was another one.
Well, yeah.
Maybe.
Closer to the maybe.
They spread, you
Oh, yeah, they spread the wrong direction. One, and there's one shoot clear up over in this other spot.
know, listen.
Yeah.
Really good, man.
A whole lot. I'm trying.
That way. Is your mic way up? Usually better off that way, Jake.
You said you were up late, that's what we were up late. Kept saying it's coming our direction, so we were gonna go to sleep.
Yeah, I was watching like the YouTube streamers that have the storm watchers and storm chasers and all that. And it was just a line going pretty hard and it was going right, just right over me. And I seen they were 2 radar confirmed. There's one that apparently Bruce had, and then the other was just north.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, they said the one in, they said they confirmed there was debris damage they can see, but yeah, no, they heard debris, but not necessarily damage.
Yeah.
It's like they already broke off.
Yeah, you're just like.
Put new bushes on that tree, on the ground.
Yeah, well. That's. I know.
At least didn't take it. Oh, but I kind of drove through right yesterday. Yeah, I think it's so much water. All the leaves and junk that's in the yard washed out in the street. It's, you know, it's junk in the street. I don't know on the bush. Had to go out and see what happened.
Yeah, did you guys have what was going on there?
Chunk of asphalt.
Oh, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's chunk of asphalt this big on the road over it. The water got underneath the edge of the thing. That was all even farther back. The edge of the asphalt sank out with this much it washed out. That's the asphalt clear back. Wow. But that, I talked to John, he said, this is one that's on our next sales staff. I got, I went over there and looked at it. It's been repaired.
Yeah.
Towards the concrete wall, basically abutments, but the wind wall, it's all stone. That's just washed out, so it's, you know, it's on the rest for the next.
And where's that?
Just west of Ryan. Kansas, have you been to Ryan?
Yeah.
Kansas,
I've
it's the
tried.
old highway, it's the old, Kansas Avenue is the old highway.
That's true. Yeah, I've tried to go around. I've been around. I know one of the reasons I heard things when that was kind of going on, so I didn't see that. Interesting.
But yeah, it's always good to have people.
That's a, want to go better.
Yeah, that's some people, it's. Our
Oh, is it?
That's right. I don't care about older age religions. Particularly, they put some stuff in, like, I heard they put it in the second over, the north side, so.
Well.
Yeah. I don't know, it's-
And when I wrote down, like, we were working on it, I was like, anyway, I'm ready back. It's like, yeah, they probably need such process. Spurts and. Because those are these aren't there. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Lakes. There's some Chevy. Oh, yeah, Chevy. Yeah, third generation.
Give Chevy a hard time. Up until recently, he always really Toyota. Nice shit. I knew you're driving a Toyota, he just recently bought a Chevy.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a Chevy.
His house, he bought a house very badly. And it's just been he added on to it, couldn't work like it. It's really.
Yeah, he told me about this.
Fixed it. I said,
It wasn't
bad.
bad.
It just-
Never ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how they really interested in the big there. And I sent your post on the front porch. Well, that's the next one. They're on these. Well, that I heard he has already. His house. I'm gonna be on the little like finish. Starts with my brain. Yeah, I don't know. Yes, it's gonna be, yeah.
Because we in school, yeah. In school.
Little, this is all.
Yeah. Turn basically. Hang on her, the base part of that, well.
In very, that's. What? Okay, it's fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Even though it's a town of 6,000 people, that's for instance, it's a small town.
Well, see, that's what I thought people like. Well, I think you have to lose this job, yeah, 300. I mean, you said that's what people. Yeah, it's a small town, but it's, yeah, big enough that's got nice community, but it's not a small town. How many people know each other?
Yeah. it's just every time they're on. Don't come here very. All right, I know that might stay. But we're it's time. She made because her husband's a water. I'm good friends with that. I said, I didn't. And it was funny. Last long. I didn't put it together. It's way to say good inspection. He didn't. She did. Where goes their place?
Well, let's see, what is hard to do?
She. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably, Chad, even probably was reporting of the, yeah. Very thoughtful of them.
Yeah,
He's in there, Chris.
and then we got, I get to join tomorrow.
And saw that. And they. Oh, about this, you know, a lot of times the commissioner and staff may go, but this. Sand work, beginning time, they're a long day, they like start at 8. My session did, to 5:15, I think they go all the way to 5 tomorrow. It's all brutal.
I thought they'd be done.
It's on Friday, at least at 5 every night, start early every day. They're long sessions, and they are being packed.
Yeah, I still don't even know what time I'm supposed to. Tomorrow.
If you drop me an email, I'll send you the agenda.
Oh, that'd be great, yeah.
Remind me to get back to the office.
Okay, no, I didn't, for the presentation with the stage. Something to.
Fair amount of new clerks there, so you know
Yeah.
that's your audience, and there's, Department deputy, there's Susan there, there's Department deputy, thanks clerks there. Then we had a examining sessions in Lott County, clerk. And 2 other, current clerks and current call, of course, I'm the one who was experienced, I was trying to say, and not get involved. Everyone else sat there going on to, so. Totally.
Yeah. I guess that's just fine. Been here as long as that.
Right, that's pretty, the guy on the far end.
Also, no. Those are. Right there, but there's probably. It's in the big.
It's definitely a little bit of far end. South end.
Also, that's just not.
No. But you can't miss it, they'll have that's sitting out there. They should. Tips on, you know, being good clerks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, already got on the wall. Yeah.
So that's the idea of position as far as.
Yeah, but our. No, that's. I'm not speaking a.
I mean, that whenever you deciding.
Yeah, whatever that's worth.
Yeah, he's. Yeah. Yeah, it's all.
That's what my wife was, she was, when she retired, they said, oh, now we got, now we have it's, she was, okay.
When we,
Quitting, the,
we talked with clients here.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh, really?
He's say during.
Oh, that was a great game.
Yeah, because he said, I think he said that it was basically a line. And it was on. Thank you. Yeah.
I said, you be I don't teach the time and teachers is good, we're looking at raising football game. Agents, not gonna make money that day.
Right. The only way I can agree with this, I either walk off into the experience between me and then code something to where if they get anything on it, I can wash it out. It's only,
Yeah, I'll sit around here and finish one.
yeah,
You guys on the close.
yeah, when I.
knew the guy did.
It feels right, and then I've seen it, I've been there, so I've always bought pretty.
Oh, yeah.
For sure, I've been on the very, months ago, previous spots, he actually. He sold all the stuff.
Yeah.
Out there.
And and just asking that 42730.
Yeah.
No one will be able to find.
That's the gate.
Yeah, no, that's it. Our family's always joked about it now. We're back at the. Yes, I mean. Way to. That's what. Also. So.
Yeah, it's, you know.
Bunch of stuff to cross the road, like, get ready to go. I mean, it's easy.
He had a file, yeah,
It's easy to avoid, it's like, it's. I was good. Well, I'll check it out, because we have stuff.
Okay.
Like, we haven't been active.
Yeah. That bottle.
We've got 20 minutes to keep us up.
I know, I don't, yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna be able to fill that. But there's a couple things.
Huge.
Like pretty good chance of rain tomorrow, I think, during the day, all day, and I heard 30-mile-an-hour winds.
That's what they're saying Saturday.
Oh, is it
Yeah,
Saturday?
yeah.
Maybe that's what they were saying, maybe I missed it.
Yeah, it is Saturday. That's what I heard too.
Of course, my day off and I want to get a lot of stuff done outside.
Yeah, I thought too.
Come on, it's Kansas, Rich. That's the way it's supposed to work.
Oh, trust me, I know. Oops, I'm showing 50% chance on Friday
Oh.
on my phone. 8 a.m. tomorrow, it goes up to 23% and 45 and 50.
Anybody catch pictures from the tornado over in Saline County?
Did not.
That thing was kind of a monster. Thankfully, it didn't hit anything. Well, it didn't. It didn't hit Salina, so we'll just go with that.
Yeah, my daughter that lives in Texas was in her bathtub this morning because of sirens going off in Blair, Texas.
Oh, really?
Texas.
And just remember, it's early April, so we've got 90 to 120 days of this. Just saying.
It's all summer.
April, May, June, yeah, through June.
Seems like it's leaving.
One of the guys this morning, that they bring up from K States and that very easy so far, because he's just concerned that it's holding, it's waiting.
Yeah.
Mr. Hanson?
Good morning, Commissioners. Jacob Vance, a Deputy County Counselor here, instead of Brian Parker, who's over there teaching some folks over at the Sanborn Institute. not a whole lot necessarily to share, but a couple things that, are kind of on my radar. And that'll be in front of you guys relatively soon is, I know we have a resolution that we need to reappoint the county appraiser at some point. I'll be working on that, and getting it to y'all relatively soon. I know we have the city of Manhattan annexation we're going to talk about later today. As far as the tax foreclosure sale process, just a quick update there. We're going to be doing a motion for default judgment here soon. And then we'll set the hearing date for that around May 15th, mid-May. So that's the plan. Once that happens, the default judgments that are entered, we can, I think Jan is already scheduled when the property auction takes place, but things are just moving smoothly. I'm not aware of any issues we've had, any concerns. There's been a couple individuals that I think have paid their taxes and covered that base, but business as usual as far as that goes. One thing about the county luncheon, actually, there was one topic I think that may be useful to have, and that I've talked with John Elwin a little bit about. And we were kind of exploring some ideas on excessive property auction. And maybe trying to game plan how we want to tackle some costs on that. Because as far as, as far as the legal side of things go, when you're under a value of $50, there's pretty much free reign for the county to take care of that property in whatever way you see fit. When you get from 50 to, I believe, 1,000, there's a couple requirements that has to go through. It just kind of continues to tier up, from that point onward about the requirements. But for county officials luncheon, I think that would be appropriate to have everybody, because it's gonna take everybody to kind of figure out, okay, moving property, what that looks like, moving furniture and all that, to get everybody on the same page. Frankly, I haven't been watching too much of the legislation, so if you have any questions on that, I can try to answer to the best of my ability, but just know that there's a chance that I probably haven't been watching that, just trying to focus on more of the legal stuff going through our office. But I think that pretty much covers most of the things going on, kind of what to expect. And if you have any questions specifically for me, I'm happy to answer any right now. So,
Everything, John?
John?
I'm good.
All right. Very good.
Okay. Thanks, Jacob. Appreciate it. Next, commissioners, we're back to Jacob at 10:35.
Yes.
Exactly. It's like the Jacob show from here on out.
No, I got a couple things for you.
How much time do you need? Maybe we could move it. Is that gonna be enough for you?
For the executive,
Yeah,
it should be. I think what's going on is pretty straightforward. I know we're gonna have Brittany and Anna in on that executive session, so we'll want to probably wait for them. Say again.
for all this time, we need some snacks.
I
Cookies or something.
know. Well, man, when I first started here, I feel like you guys got some every other day. I had a
Well, it was Christmas time. wasn't it?
yeah, it was
Yeah.
that yeah, Halloween, all that stuff.
They load us up at Christmas.
They do.
Okay, commissioners next, Jacob at 10:35.
I wasn't. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, just I have it.
Cold in here.
What?
It's cold in here.
Coolish, yeah.
Cold. Not coolish. Are you cold too?
Not cold, but it's.
Yeah, my
Turn
nose
the
is
fan
cold.
off.
Yeah, we don't need the
I
fan.
turn the fan off every day.
I do too. I don't like that.
Is, I take it the right
It's
fan
one
is
of the
right.
right.
Jacob?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, sure.
Never mind.
Yep.
Well, we can shut those off too. Yeah. I usually shut those off. Never get enough noise. It's cool. It's cool in here,
Yeah,
especially where that door is over there. It's really
yes, yes,
Nice. To get
yes, because I sat in your chair when we were interviewing
Mhm.
last week, and it was cool. Yeah.
There's dangerous stealing somebody from the fire department.
Are you? They do that every once in a while. We have, like, Richie's office steals a
That
lot.
fire board meeting Tuesday night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You never know.
I'm excited. It's gonna be a good thing.
Yeah, no, because she got the experience.
Oh, she's
That's
gonna be
that.
awesome, yeah, for public health emergency.
Emergency, yeah,
preparedness.
emergency preparedness, which she's been
Yeah.
in the fire emergency
Yeah.
management.
For like 2.5 years,
Yeah.
she's been up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's gonna be awesome because finding somebody with experience is
I'm
just
sure.
almost impossible for that, so. Not having to train anybody from the ground up is,
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
And we'll be. Russ will be in there pretty soon.
Yes,
Position.
yes, he will. I told him to work with them and I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna
she
leave
said,
them
she'd
behind.
said they were gonna.
Yeah.
Allow her to work with the new person. to
Yeah.
Get into that.
Yeah. I'm not gonna leave them high and dry. Won't do that. So we'll make sure all their stuff gets done and they get covered.
I have a friend who works over, has been working at KSU, legislature is not funny, so we're talking about. She's a program manager and she does management and like so. I talked to her.
Yeah.
All their scheduling. Got moved over here.
Yeah. There's some very,
But she's very talented.
Yes.
And does a lot of good management kinds of things, budget also.
there's some very talented people out there. that
She
are
said she'd like to stay at KSU,
Of
but,
course,
you know, they can find spots for them.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, they're used to do this. And she wants.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's all the same stuff. It's in the middle of it, but, you know.
That's because we just sent our financial planner guy, you know.
So it's not right on this.
And I told her, finally, I just told her, I said, I think I wanna just put this in the money market. Because I said, especially now,
That's tanking.
Especially
I haven't
today.
heard, they were saying, and when I came in here.
Yeah.
Stock market was, overnight, they were talking.
that it was going to, yeah,
Hey, Catherine.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
on the executive motion, we're gonna take a break out of it.
Huh? You hear what?
We're taking a break. She does.
You did have an executive session.
I was
We
over.
don't need to know money in those sessions.
So, yeah, I just wanted to bring it to you so you can look at it right there.
This is on that one. Yeah.
This is the, yes, now I was, usually I wasn't terribly sure, but usually when it comes to finance, taxes and stuff like that, I'll just. Yeah, there you go.
Simple.
Yeah, right, well, there you go. Yeah. All right, but I know Anna's definitely gonna wanna have some more. I'm sure which
Taxes and.
one.
Well, yeah, I've got it, I've got to look through it a little bit more.
And
I mentioned it and I just got,
well, hopefully, I can explain it.
explain it more.
Yeah.
Did
Gotta
these
give you that.
did these people actually have a homestead?
Yeah, some of them do, like, sorry, what was the question?
Oh, I was just thinking it was one person,
Oh, yeah, well,
actually policy.
yeah, we'll discuss that. All that's just more supplemental material in the back. So you can,
Yeah, I started going through this and then I kind of, this speaker. How you can read.
we'll talk more once we get this down.
Okay. Yeah, explain it to me some more.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
I have my heater on.
Okay. Have you seen them? Who? No, I called.
Maybe your email got caught in spam or something.
Man, well, she called me about it, so I know she got it.
Oh, there you are. We're just calling you. How you doing?
Almost forgot. Yeah, I was a little, that email was pretty early.
Well, I've got bad news for you. If you think it's cold in here, you don't want to go outside. It has not warmed up.
Oh.
I think the breeze,
Because it's coming.
I think
this
the
way.
breeze is cooler than when we came in this morning.
Yeah, we need to turn the heat up.
It is
Heat up a
definitely
bit.
cooler.
It didn't. when you turn the
It's
heat-
not
you
cold
turn the heat up.
outside.
Go ahead,
Okay.
go ahead. I haven't touched it.
Yeah, of course, it's over here by the door. It's
Yeah.
letting in a lot.
I think these are still off.
Did you say it's cold outside?
Yeah, it is pretty coolish.
No, I've got all the
It's-
windows
it's
open.
cooler
It's
than we
raining.
came in. No, it's not too cold for me, but two commissioners are cold in here. If they go outside, they're really not gonna be happy.
I'm happy with it outside. I've got the windows open.
Yeah, I love this kind of weather.
If you did with the Tuesday's weather, it knocked all the dust and the air.
Actually, I can say it's mine. In college.
Never been in this society.
Got anything planned for the weekend?
Kids are on the Wichita. Yes. It's not very.
In Wichita,
My grandma.
You've been down there often?
Yeah, I think we get to see their dad every other weekend. My boyfriend lives with their.
Just like any time.
There you
Yeah, go down there.
can't get him to move to Manhattan.
No,
What's he do?
he's an appraiser.
For Cedric?
Yeah,
Is he?
yeah, yeah. He was my mentor.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
We're friends. guys.
Try to stop that
course.
conversation there. Even she can't stop laughing.
You know.
You gotta tell him you ratted him out today.
What's it, 2.5 hours from here to
Yeah.
Wichita?
Yeah. I mean, if you take.
It's about 2,
You can
really.
do it in 2 if you go down 77.
It's an easy drive. That's what I always do. I always take 77, 50.
I don't like 77 on Fridays, getting stuck behind people on the 2 lanes, so
Oh, yeah.
if it's raining or. If it's a busy time, I'll take 70 all the way to.
Do you?
Mhm.
Yeah, I always take 70,
I go through
77 and
Salina.
then 50.
Yeah, and that's the way I like to go, if weather's good and it's not a busy time, I'll go 77, 50. But
Is that's the one that's kind of a prettier drive too,
A
and
lot prettier than interstate for sure.
it is.
because I think I've been there. I haven't had a reason to go down to Wichita very often, so I don't.
Yeah,
fuck myself
Wichita's
up.
an easy drive.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. Why would anybody want to go to Wichita?
Yeah, no, it's an easy drive, so I'm down there every other weekend anyway.
Yeah.
They do have one good barbecue joint. I will admit.
Yes,
that.
they do.
You haven't told him you have a couple open positions from time to time?
That would not work. I would totally hire him if we weren't together, so. In a heartbeat. But, yeah. Yeah,
One guy and a bunch of backups.
and they got a mess down there.
Oh, do they?
Thousands upon thousands of appeals down there.
I can only imagine.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure as big as they are.
The volume this year is heavier than it was ever the 6 years that I worked down there. Yeah, there's some.
Hmm.
Yeah, but the values went up a lot. I think I heard the median was like 10% or more.
Ooh, gosh,
Yeah.
that's year over year.
Well, I mean, no, they weren't raised like that the last few years, so I think they saw a bigger jump this year than they've seen in the last 4.
Oh,
So, yeah, there's a lot of.
dang.
Yeah, their volumes.
Yeah, I guess that's what happens when you're one of the most populated
I
counties.
mean, you've got over 100,000 parcels residentially, I mean, you got over 200,000 total, but over 100,000 residential, yeah, you're gonna have a lot.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Do we have?
Yeah.
Just under 25,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And just over 16,000 residential.
Commissioners, it's time.
We gotta go to work.
Yeah,
We're talking about music.
gotta bug your ear.
Commissioner Ford, I'm gonna remove you.
Definitely don't want to make homicide mad.
Yeah, I said Brian's over there. Is he? Is he really?
You know, I wonder, and maybe this isn't the time to decide this, but now that the Zoom meeting is private, you have to be admitted and it's not open to the public. I don't necessarily see why someone would have to dial.
Better
Yeah.
check with IT out first.
I'll
Though.
do that
They're
for
the
the
ones
next
that have
one.
always had security concerns, and so I think we ought to wait till we clear that up.
I'll ask them about it, maybe next time, make it a little easier. But Commissioner Ford, I'm gonna go ahead and remove you from the Zoom then.
So we're gonna go ahead and- who is this?
Yeah, well, I'm not. reading.
Give me a second here. I'm gonna call in on the number here, so it's gonna be just a second.
Okay.
He said he came in,
Yeah.
he modified it, take it out.
Yeah. Okay, you want me to go ahead? Are we ready or are we gonna wait for him to call in?
Yeah, usually we go in first, but we can just do it over the phone.
Tell me we're gonna resume. Sometimes when you call in, you have to go through. the process.
Yeah, because you can't call in directly. If you go there, they gotta transfer you. Vote.
Yeah.
Maybe he's using carrier pigeon.
Better open up the window.
And my theories are on. In order for somebody on the Zoom to hear, we'd have to have microphones and cameras on, and then the public YouTube side. There we go.
Oh, okay.
My theory was totally wrong.
Unfortunately, that'd be nice.
That would be nice. We could stop the live stream and come back, but I think that would also put us in violation.
Should be 11:10.
We need to move back. Are you gonna need to hold? 30 minutes.
Okay, that's really gonna be up to you all. I won't need it to do my.
No, okay. We just didn't know if we need to extend the close time, so we're starting a little bit late.
I think we'll be all right. I think I can get through it quick.
If we have to, we can make it longer, but I don't think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the door is still open.
No, this shit.
Yeah, Vivian's gotta go out. Vivian's not invited, sorry.
Okay.
When John's cell phone battery went dead.
Probably getting voicemail or something.
I don't know. This is taking, that's for sure, of course.
Need to call him. His attention.
No. He said it was gonna take him just a minute.
Maybe he's on the way.
Until you turn the heat up.
Turn the heat up. No.
Feel a little
Just
better.
cut the
I can
fans
feel
off.
it. I can
I can
feel it.
feel the heat now,
Fans off too.
because the fans.
That breeze is picked up outside and it's a cool breeze.
Oh,
It is a
it's
cool
windows.
breeze and the dampness in the air, kind of one of those breezy breezes. Okay, Mr. Ford.
Yeah, these windows and the door makes it look cold.
It's kind of like Commissioner Ford driving it. Rain. Driving a Ford.
Right.
You'd think so.
Did you see the commercial that Harrison Ford's doing for Jeep? At the end of it, he said something about driving a Jeep, my last name's.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a good commercial.
Yeah, I didn't catch it for, I got to pay attention to the commercials too much. But the other day I noticed.
I just did on that one because I like him as an actor, you know, and so he's in some pretty good stuff.
Like I say, you know, they kind of have
Mhm.
us and usually reading something while I'm reading commercials or something.
I usually
Email.
use the sound and. Such crazy.
Okay, next alternative, he says he can't get through.
Really?
I just use the speaker on my phone.
Can't get through.
I am. How about we just use you on speaker on my phone?
I guess that's gonna have to work. It sent me to elections. I don't know why.
Okay, sounds good. We got you here.
Okay.
Oh, I did that. They clicked on it first off. It sends you the-
Yeah, it sends you
Oh,
to the
really?
elections, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I move the county commission, including Chairman McKinley, Vice Chairwoman Folke, and Commissioner Ford, recess into executive session on potential litigation for the purpose of consultation with Jacob Hansen, Deputy County Counselor, Attorney for the Commission, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. The open meeting to resume the open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 11:05 a.m. Rich Vargo, county clerk, and Anna Burson, county appraiser, will be present during the executive session to provide factual information.
Second that, John?
I'll second.
Okay. Been moved and seconded for the county commission to recess in the executive session for the reasons previously stated under the attorney-client relationship, with the exception to the Kansas Open Meeting Act. All in favor?
Aye.
And commissioners, the meeting is live.
Okay. I would move the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
Second that, John?
Yes.
Been moved and seconded, county commission come out of executive session, all in favor?
I,
Yeah, consensus was reached.
Okay, I move that the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in executive session.
second.
Been moved and seconded, the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in executive session, all in favor?
Aye.
It's time for Brittany. And she's there.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brittany Phillips, Budget and Finance Officer, here to discuss the discontinuation of some federal grant funds that we had. So I highlighted two of them for you. Were you with me, John? Oh, yes, I didn't thank you. I didn't even see him pop out. There we go. Okay, so we received this notice on March 26th. So this is all over. Everybody received this notice. It wasn't just Riley County. And all funds had to be the last date you could spend by was March 24th, 2025. And so the two that impact us are the two highlighted ones. So the immunization and vaccine for children, and then the epidemiology and laboratory capacity for infectious diseases. So this one I'm going to just call ELC. We haven't had this one since last year. We finished spending in at the end of June. So that was the last one we had. But one thing we want to point out is that this is one that there have been talks of possibly trying to get payment back. So they were looking at possibility of us having to return that funding. But that's all we've heard. So until we know more, we're just getting that on your radar for now. The immunization and vaccine for children. This one is the supplemental funding that we received during COVID. So it's kind of been continuous, and it was going to end in June of this year already. So we kind of were wrapping it up. We knew it was going to end. We were having it pay for an employee's salary. That employee has since left, and so we just haven't really used too much more of that funding. And so we did submit the FSRs, which is the financial report. Showing, the last payments of March 24th. And at the end of that, we still had $25,809.93 as of, that final reporting remaining of that funding. That's not money we have to send back. It was a reimbursement grant, so they would just reimburse us for our expenditures. But that is the one that really does impact us right now, that we just no longer have funding for. Any questions?
All the stuff is clear as mud, right?
Right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it might change. Yeah, everything's a moving target, it seems
Yeah.
like, so.
It sounds like it doesn't really affect us. It shouldn't.
It really doesn't.
As the understanding of it is right now.
Yeah, I mean, we were using it to still pay some bills, but really it was just supplemental funding. So we still have our regular immunization funding that we can just move those bills over to. So it's like sharps disposal. So when people like return, needles, stuff like that, we were paying, Sharps, the company, to dispose of those. And so the bills are pretty small. So we were going to have funding left over at the end anyways.
Exactly. So that immunization, children stuff, that's still going on. This
Yes.
is just a little extra help.
Correct.
We're not changing, we're not getting rid of that policy. I just want to make sure anyone
Yeah.
listening understands that.
Yeah,
It's not
right.
something, it's not something we're doing away with. It's just
Yeah.
funding has changed.
Yes. Yeah, just the supplemental funding is going away. And that was the same question I had. And I was like, they have the same number and everything. I think we're getting rid of everything. But Diane reached out to KDHE and they said, we're sorry for the confusion. It's just the supplemental, so. Any other questions?
Just keep us informed as.
Yep.
Whatever this week's notices are.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, we will definitely keep letting you know as we hear things. Hopefully we don't hear anything else, but if we do, we'll let you know, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brittany. More than likely will be more.
Yeah. Yeah, like we said, it's a moving target. We don't know what's gonna happen next. So.
Next commissioner, we have Elizabeth at 11:25.
So this is for Blueberry and she is not responded to your email. Currently, a county employee, but she's, yeah.
It's very.
So we're
I
just gonna
imagine,
do
so- well, that was when you were.
recognition of your.
We were on
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I knew she.
I know, I'm working on
She's
budgets
been
and I was.
there
not-
for weeks.
is that,
Yeah.
that's pretty,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that season for you is pretty
So
much,
we
I'm
were-
pretty much out of the loop as far as what the budgets do. Oh, you guys are.
And
When do you
Elizabeth,
have-
on
what's
that,
your-
you might want to do a write-up for Greg to let you know, although not a Riley County employee, she did work for Riley County.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that'd be nice
Something like that.
information, I think,
That
you
out.
know,
Just a normal day.
uh-huh, kind of her work history and why we're recognizing her.
3:30.
So I just had a conversation with her, you know, Greg,
Yeah.
for years, she's always drove those big white Ford Expeditions. And now she's driving a little Jeep. And she said, "Good morning," across the parking lot. And they go and I said, "What in the heck are you doing driving a Jeep?" She goes, "Well, it's not
You get
going,
overtime?
I'm going through a little life or anything." That's what she said,
That's rough.
time to replace your vehicle. And she says, "I want a Jeep."
Take a big vacation after all that.
I won't this year.
And she does, and she says her grandchildren just think it's neater than a hat. Rusty has a hard time getting in and out. He don't like it, but the grandchildren think she's cool.
So what would it is?
Where did you start when you were 2? That means you didn't.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like a little breath before
Yeah.
you get into it, yeah.
Yeah, so I was.
She doesn't
gone,
look, she doesn't
and then
act,
this
she's
past
great, she's
weekend,
such a good
and
personality.
Tuesday, So I'm like, okay, cool, I feel refreshed to.
And I forget early in my
be, like,
career,
drowning for the
early,
next 6
you know,
months.
we moved, we moved just so
That's
we could send our kids to
That was
Riley
good.
County School.
I like budgets.
And
I think
I
know
was
Elizabeth
early in my
was-
career here,
everybody's always
Lynn
like,
happened to be
budgets.
there,
I was like, I need to figure
in
out
the
how to
conversation, I
change
said,
that dynamic.
yeah, we made
Yeah.
this way so your kids could go to the Riley School District. She quickly corrected me and said it's the Riley County School District,
Oh,
not
God.
the Riley.
Yeah, there's some people over there that.
I mean.
I mean,
Was she,
No matter-
was she posted a letter?
She is, uh-huh,
Okay, but
yeah.
those people.
that's true.
Oh, I know,
That's
where I went to school, we went through the consolidation too, and
We don't have to
people,
do that.
you know,
You can-
like, all kids will tell you, parents get so up in arms about it, kids could care less.
But there's still people.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And it was Keith's Bella, letter
Yeah.
go right.
Mhm. Yeah, I was the last class of Canopolis that went all the way through 8th grade in Canopolis because then.
Song and dance.
but then
Song and dance.
that
I mean, if she's doing like.
You're not
that,
gonna
we do a
like-
legal one as well.
I,
So,
I,
That's
my
when
preferred
Canopolis and
music
Ellsworth
is like.
consolidated, yeah, you know, all the parents were.
Seventy people,
Yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
get Swifties and some rockers.
Yeah, well.
Some of
that
us
may
are
be.
bells, you know.
It can happen.
Yeah.
It can happen. I am aware.
Greg, I'm trying to get these guys to do like little TikTok style performances at Employee Day for like legal or finance.
Considering I don't. never-
Well,
I don't
something
think-
where they-
yeah. I
Well,
mean, I've
something
heard
where
of
they get up
TikTok.
and dance and say, you know, money, 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 you know, or something. I don't know.
We found that video, last year, right before.
Yeah,
Employee
people
Day.
do it.
And she was like, oh, we're definitely gonna get Brittany to do that. I'm like, absolutely not.
But once I said we could set it to Taylor Swift, there
Oh,
was a little,
yeah.
let's just be honest.
Incremental,
Yeah.
incremental.
I feel like no matter what, I just told Jacob, no matter what, if it's good, it's bad, it's ugly, people will remember. I mean,
I mean, there's a lot of commercial jingles out there that are terrible, but yeah, you know
Yeah.
what they are when you hear it.
well, and we had seen it, it's actually two guys that do HR skits. I mean, they go to places and they do these things, like they teach you FMLA, but they do it in a hilarious way, or, you know, whatever it was. And so that one was policy and it included the finance policies.
Yeah. It was really good.
It was funny.
They have really good little skits.
Not be doing any skits for my Corona presentation tomorrow.
Well, that's legitimate, but keep it in the back of your mind for Employee Day.
Remember what you asked for?
I mean, he says he loves like hard rock. I think if we have a legal skit to hard rock, I don't know the dance to that. All I know is jazz hands. I mean, you gotta do something. I don't know that.
I mean, you
Hard
just
rock.
wanna get up there
pretty
and
simple.
scream like in a
Yeah.
microphone, like.
Yeah. There you go.
Commissioner Ford always wanted to do air guitar, but
I got guitars. I got guitars. I can do that.
You should have
Well,
like
Bob's the
a
drummer.
dance break.
Is he really?
Really? Oh,
That's Bob, Logics, yeah.
yeah, you're getting a whole crew together.
Yeah, the
Well,
Riley
County
County crew.
I mean,
That'd be fun.
that would be fun for Employee Day, wouldn't it?
Bob is a really good drummer.
Yeah.
Really good.
He
Well, and
plays,
if John can pull off air guitar to that
He's-
stage, you know.
He's played in multiple bands here in town locally that
Oh, nice.
bars and stuff around here. He is a good musician, talented musician.
Nice. That'd be really cool.
Brian's a musician too. He play bass. So I'll get the guitar.
Is it-
Brian's got bass.
The saxophone?
Yeah, I think he did some brass instruments.
Okay, brass, yeah, in the military.
Tuba,
I think he's
tuba.
tuba. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Why about the expedition?
Yeah, for the.
Tuba, that's right. I think he did so.
That's fine.
that's the last employee day that had a drum set set. Oh, so you're at the church.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Was it sold?
Marketplace, huh?
He sold it on Purple Wave.
Oh, that's right.
That's.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
No, well, cause it's no.
Well, you'll have to tell Brian because he was.
I was
Interesting.
trying to get Brian to buy it.
You got your- I know, isn't
But
he?
it's
This is-
professional decorum.
I was just teasing you.
This is James.
I'm sure he'll be devastated.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm sure
Interesting.
too.
Interesting.
Didn't know that was a good
The
one.
rest of us, they just look like something to bang on.
Now, has he got something to replace the station wagon?
No, nothing yet.
Did you guys hear the big news?
They got rid of the
The
station.
station already.
There was one by our house, somebody had one for sale out in the yard, and I meant to take a picture, bring it to you. To give to your husband, saying, here, I didn't, especially now, since he's lost this other one.
Yeah, you probably got the buckets to get in there.
Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye out.
They're here to support you, Brittany.
Yeah, I can see that.
Who the heck did he find to buy that thing?
He sold it on Purple Wave, actually. And so the people came on Friday while I was gone, you know, and picked it up. So he sent me a picture of it leaving. I was like,
So what's he gonna get to replace? It's the question.
he hasn't said anything yet.
You'll just see it in the driveway someday.
Yeah, yeah. Usually I can see what's coming. He starts like talking about the same type of vehicle, and then there's YouTube videos because he's researching and all the things, and we haven't had that. So,
Well, I don't think you're out of the woods.
oh no.
I've got somebody I know that's got one with lime green with wood panels on the side.
Oh, gosh.
Sounds spectacular.
Nope.
Spectacular. I like that adjective. I think he should buy it. It'd be a
I
good
think
family.
he learned his lesson.
Start looking at that. Cars that come, I'll find.
Yeah, find
But it's lime green with wood
Like the
paneling.
suggestion.
I think that's awesome.
You know, you can send them to me. It doesn't mean I have to show them to him.
Interestingly, they all get lost.
Yeah.
It might have a CD player in it too, and you can still play Taylor Swift in the car.
CD player, wow.
Got the built-in phone for those.
CD
That's
player.
fancy.
Probably has an 8-track tape, Commissioner.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
8-track CD player. I've grown up, through the entire genre. It's the same thing. No big deal.
I don't think you can remember 8 tracks. I mean, I think you know.
No,
what they
I
are.
really do. Believe me, I really do. My mom's got a collection of them. We're
You
going
know
through them
what an
right
8-track
now.
tape player is?
Yeah,
You do?
yeah.
Impressed. Impressed.
Does it fit in the station wagon?
Fleetwood
don't.
Mac and Meatloaf.
You don't remember 8-tracks?
I know what they are. What they sat, we had some in the basement, but no one used them. Like it was all, everything I remember is cassettes and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have been around with 8-track tape
I think,
players.
I might be a lot younger than you think.
No, I know just about how old you are now.
No, I mean, I think I would have been born, but I don't remember like ever. My mom had a big record collection. She was more records, so.
Mhm.
And my son just brought home a record player.
Tracks, never,
What's
didn't
that?
like, I didn't like.
Records are actually coming back. 8 tracks, not so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a record player.
my son brought home his grandmother, no, his great grandmother's record player from this last trip, and so now I've got to get records from the farm so he can figure it out.
Mhm.
Oh gosh, that would mean that'd be my
Yeah.
grandparents.
I don't know if
Oh,
that's
wow.
what this is going to be.
Well, no, because you're on 11 to 25.
Oh, I thought it was
25.
25.
Yeah.
Forget that. I've just been standing up here forever. I thought it was 15, so I jumped up here then. But no, it's fine. I just. That's lies sometimes. Sometimes.
I have worked on series regulations
Oh,
yesterday.
that's exciting.
Okay, say speed, others, you know.
Mhm.
But I mean, those are important things.
They did. It isn't amazing how they come out with something and say, oh, this is gonna be around forever, and it gets changed.
Down the drain.
Now, like I say, my rec.
Just those.
Yeah, apples are coming
Yeah.
back.
They are, and I saw something last year about
I always
the
think back to
statistics
it,
on
see those signs, I know.
record player sales going up
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. because they are so popular now.
Well, all the artists sell vinyls again. I mean, I have
Mhm.
several, I mean, I have Taylor Swift ones on my shelf. So,
I have Beatles, I don't like Taylor Swift.
So what's the newest movie? My son came home singing a Beatles song. It's Boss Baby. Boss
Oh,
Baby
yeah,
is,
Boss Baby.
yeah, a song from 1969, Blackbird.
yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
yeah,
Blackbird.
he said, I'm like, that is an unusual song for a 7-year-old. And then it's been remixed so many times. We had a hard time finding the original,
Oh,
or remastered, I guess is a better word, but. So now he's been asking Alexa to play Blackbird from 1969.
That actually makes sense. You know, there's a whole bunch of Gen Zers that are walking around wearing MTV shirts these days, and kind of have to explain to them that there were actually music videos on TV.
That was the coolest.
It was. Does anybody remember the first?
Was that the one with the
Music.
head?
no, it was more of a jazz. It had the mechanical legs and stuff dancing to it. Isn't that the first one?
Huh,
What's that?
The first video.
and mechanical legs dancing to it?
Yeah.
Video killed the radio star was the first one.
Yeah.
Video killed the radio star? Well, that makes sense,
That's
right?
it right there.
Yeah.
August of 1982, I think.
Yeah, yeah, missed the board. 8-track tapes were popular from the mid-60s until the late 80s.
Yeah, I just missed it.
Late 80s.
Just missed it. Well, you know, I was on the farm,
I
so
didn't know you were a
we didn't
millennial.
have
there.
popular. We didn't have anything popular.
They lasted quite a while, though. That's a pretty good time period compared to now how things last and don't last.
As I'm staring at my CD collection currently.
Commissioners?
Reminiscent.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Good morning again, Commissioners. Elizabeth Ward, Human Resources Director. And I'm here to request an out-of-state travel request for the SHRM National Conference. This is something we've been going to last 3 years. This year I'll go by myself. We're only asking for one registration, and the total cost, including all the airfare, lodging, registration and meals is there. I think last year John mentioned he was surprised there was an entire society of HR professionals there, so.
Strange how that works.
I would make a motion to approve the out-of-state travel request for the SHRM 2025 National Convention for the Human Resources Director.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the out-of-state travel request for the SHRM 2025 National Convention for HR Director. All in favor?
Aye.
Please sign.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Elizabeth. Next commissioner, you have Jacob Hansen at 11:30.
Again?
Again.
Told you it was the Hansen show.
Is right. Airport. Yeah,
The airport area.
yeah. I think.
Annexation.
Yeah.
That's not a lot.
Oh, there it is.
They here we go. Green Star.
Looks like the sun's coming out. So maybe that'll help a little bit out there.
Right. Kansas Avenue should be up and back patched up this afternoon.
Oh, okay. Good. People were asking me, well, when's the county gonna fix that?
And Blue River Hill is open probably by now too.
It was open this morning.
But they patched it.
Did they patch it?
Patched up.
Yeah. Yeah, it was still over the road after work last night. It was still over the road and
Yeah, we went. Brett went out about right at 4 o'clock and pulled the. Cleaned out the end, there's some stuck in there kind of blocking it off. And then they were out patching this morning and then move up to. And Saturday.
good deal. Yeah, storms are destructive and water is powerful. It's amazing how it gets to rolling over that low water crossing sometimes. It's just unreal.
I was impressed how much water was going through and how fast it was going through it, so.
Any comments on the work? John, any comments?
On what?
I got an inch and a half here. I wish.
It starts at 11:30.
Although it did knock all the dust and the mud out of the air because my truck is just caked in it. I'm sure everybody else's vehicles
Did you
are
notice how
too.
dirty that rain was? And the rain was still dirty even after the big storm, after I got to work yesterday, because my truck was, the windshield was washed off. And the next sprinkle that came through, there was just as much dust in the rain. It was unreal
All
how
that
much
wind.
dust is out there in the atmosphere evidently that it brought down.
Yeah. I mean, my guess.
That explains all my allergies over the last month.
Ready, commissioners?
All right, Jacob Hansen, Deputy County Counselor. Here before you is a R outlining the city annexation request, specifically an island annexation, which requires some findings to be made by the board within 30 days after receipt of said request. We received that May 20 or May. Let's try March 24th. So give or take that puts us 30 days from there is April 23rd. I think the commission meeting immediately preceding that would be April 21st. So what statutory requirements are is that the board has to make a finding that the annexation is not going to hinder or prevent the proper growth and development of the area. Now, we're going to use quite a few items in order to help, provide that basis for you guys to make that determination. But part of that is we are going to also set the time, or I would request that we set a time to allow the public to make a comment on that. We'll allow the public to make comment during that finding. It's not required. Statute does not require that there be a public hearing at all. Frankly, the statute only requires that you guys make findings.
Have it.
Interpretation of the law, having time available for the public to speak will help inform you guys in making your findings. So that's why I would request that we go ahead and set a date for just the public comment period. I do not want to title this, and I do not want it to be misconstrued as a public hearing. This is not a public hearing. It's not a public hearing process. Just want to be very upfront that that is not the case.
Public comment.
Just a public comment period. So we'll allow people to get up, do the standard rule 3 minutes to speak if they have anything they would like to say regarding that annexation. And then we can close the comment period. You guys can make your findings, and then after that, I'll draft a resolution making those findings, and then you guys can sign it the next day. I believe for my review of the calendar, what is the prior to April 21st? I believe it's April 17th.
Correct.
Yeah, April 17th would be my recommended date that we hold that public comment period. Probably do it for an hour. Give or take. I mean, I'm open to whatever you guys want to do as far as how we.
I'd just be surprised if anyone comes in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think we need an hour.
I think you can do 15 minutes and extend it if you have to.
It very well could be. That might be the better direction to go. One thing also.
Meeting. Put it at the end of the meeting.
End of the meeting.
Yeah, end of the meeting. You guys will.
We're done.
Yeah, you guys will also get, I'll include in the packet for that public comment period session, a staff recommendation. I've asked that Amanda Webb and Joe Godwin over at the clerk's office make a recommendation on what they believe. So that'll help inform you guys on whether or not it meets that standard of hindering or preventing the proper growth of the area. If you have any questions on that, feel free to ask. There's some relatively recent case law that helps define what that finding looks like. Usually you're evaluating comprehensive plans and what kind of what the county and the city have planned for that area. Is usually, as long as it's consistent with that, typically that would make sense. But that's just to kind of give you an overview.
Jacob, I've got a question.
Yeah,
Does that have to go for the planning board first?
Say again, I'm sorry.
Planning board, does that have to go in front of them first?
No, it does not. I'm not aware of any policy that we have that requires that. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
You said it's an island.
Yeah, it's
It's attached to existing, but it's attached to an existing island. Is that why?
No, it's not actually attached to any, it doesn't border any other city property, which is why it's an island annexation.
What I showed was it is right next to the airport, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's right next to the airport, but it's either, I mean, if you really zoom into there, you'll notice it's not touching on it. Otherwise, it could be done as a unilateral annexation. They would go under that route, which then they just wouldn't involve us. But they have to when it's an island annexation.
Is it separated by the road?
I believe it is.
It's a common bad practice of the city that's gone on for decades that they'll annex both sides of a road and not annex the road, i.e., why? You then don't have to maintain the road.
Okay, because.
Huh?
Not just. Because on GIS, it showed the line, shows this city lines on that side of the road, but must be, actually, it's on the other side.
And just, I guess, a little background too, if you guys didn't read the application, the the applicant states that they're requesting this because they anticipate that city and sewer lines are gonna be moving out there if they're not already, I'm not sure. But he was just attached.
Hook up to the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, water sewer's already there.
Mm-hmm.
But he can hook up to those.
To hook up to it, it's kind of, city's making, or, it wants them to be in the city.
Well, it's gonna save him money too, because if you. You hook the city without, outside of the city on this intersection charge.
Yeah. Very possible.
I guess that's our discussion for the final thing.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, all that the board really needs to decide is set a date for this public comment period. And then we'll do that fact finding and
Okay, so you're suggesting the 17th?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we make the will manner. We'd wait till next.
so you would make the ruling then if you guys are
Okay.
comfortable. And then that way it gives me time to prepare a resolution for you guys to sign, because I'll need to give a resolution
Okay, so then on the next, on 21st, we can sign the
Yeah.
resolution within the.
within a 5 year.
Okay.
Yep, exactly.
I want to make a motion that the board authorize, that the chairman schedules a public comment period, on April 17th, considering the city of Manhattan's annexation of 5111 Maury Road, Manhattan, Kansas, during the board's regularly scheduled meeting on the dates on April 17th.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to authorize chairman to schedule a public comment period considering the city of Manhattan's annexation of 5111 Murray Road during the board's regular scheduled meeting on April 17th. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Any shaker, the next commissioner, we have Jared Trimley at 11:40. It's just scroll down there, Jared.
Okey doke.
Your commissioners.
Yeah, go ahead, Jared.
All right, thank you. Good morning. My name is Jared Tremblay. I'm the planning manager of Flint Hills NPO. I'm here to provide an update and get some guidance from you on the US 24 corridor management plan update. If you remember from last month, we had the city county meeting in this room, and we talked about both the corridor study and a cost benefit analysis study. Two studies that really go together. Cost benefit analysis study would look at a second connection between Manhattan and Blue Township, look at costs, look at pros and cons, look at environmental and hydrological impacts, and so on. At that time, both projects were going to be a 65-35 split of KDOT money and local money, 35% being the local. We've been awaiting the interlocal agreement on this, but on Monday I found out that KDOT has decided to not support or not fund, let me say that, not fund cost benefit analysis study, and will only fund and lead the corridor study. Now, the MPO was going to lead the cost benefit analysis study anyway, but we were going to have that state funding. So on the left, you can see the crossed out version. We were estimating up to 150K. KDOT was going to supply $97,500, and then the remaining $52,500 was going to be split evenly between Riley County Commission, Pot County Commission, and the city of Manhattan. Sorry, that double MHK, one of those should be Pot County. I apologize.
That's what
They're not paying twice. Instead, that obviously got blown up in the email I received Monday. So after talking with Manhattan and talking with Chad Kinsley over in Potawatomi County, I'm here today to see if you would still support going after the cost benefit analysis plan at the same level of funding you had supported earlier. Same thing for the city of Manhattan. Potawatomi County is the one who really sees the most benefit from this, and they're willing to take on both their $17,500 share they were going to do, plus the $97,500 share that KDOT was going to do. Again, I think this, so that's really the question if you're going to do it. And this is an overview again of what it would do. So the blue line, the pink line, and the green line, and now including the dashed line, we went to the city of Riley and they're in support. So all of that is still under the KDOT plan, that long line from Wamego all the way over to Riley. The thing in question would be discussing those, looking at those connections of that yellow line between Manhattan, Riley County, and Manhattan and Blue Township. Again, what we're looking to do is to look at multiple different options. What does it look like if we upgrade Blue River Road? How much does that cost? What does it do to traffic on 24? What is a bridge? Obviously the Juniata Marlette Bridge, what does it cost? What does it do to traffic? Same thing on a different location. And the idea here is so that, again, we can move beyond speculation and hearsay and have some actual costs on actual options that we've all looked at and agreed upon, and now they're studied. And that would just take us to the next step, to where then it becomes really a political conversation of, what can we afford, what can we live with, and what are the trade-offs? But we're not there right now. So we would still like to do this study, but the question remains for you, do you support the $17,500 going towards that study still?
But Pot County's agreed to pick up all that extra.
I've discussed it with the county administrator. I'm going before you and the city of Manhattan first, and then going to them to see if they.
So they haven't agreed yet.
It's not a formal agreement, no, but Chad was interested in seeing if this would still be a partnership.
I guess we ought to know that first before we,
Well, we're just including
the 17.5.
our
The same
portion.
amount.
And if they say it's got to be divided in 3 ways, we say, no.
Yeah, this is not a
Okay.
commitment. This is if everyone agrees to this notion here, this scenario of 17.5, and 115 per pot. I'm just trying to get an understanding if everybody still supports it, and then we would come back with an agreement that you would
If
sign
everybody
if everybody agrees.
Oh, okay. I don't have a problem. I mean, that's what we have looked at before.
Mhm.
I can agree with that too, but I do think it's interesting that KDOT's still not looking at the other alternative options for what I think is obvious reasons, but it'll play out in time.
Yeah. All right, I think I got the answer there, so.
I get a motion on that, commissioners, and it's a formal thing. Funding involved.
Well,
So moved.
Okay. Second that, Kathy.
I'd second that.
Um,
It's up to you now.
Right, say something about, I guess, been moved and seconded to approve the 17,500 cost on the cost benefit analysis if all other parties and all other entities agree to that terms. Right.
I'll be only come back if they agree.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
Thank you.
thank you, Jared. I know this has been
Appreciate it.
rather time consuming.
About meeting last month, they extended it just nationwide. There's
So which,
from 2477 to 2477 intersections.
Mhm.
Do some more intersection, man, they're in battle. Well, that wasn't just to get speed on the road. Behind the city. The school and the city both on two.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they did.
40, wanted to go to 45, but they wouldn't do that.
Just going too fast.
It's, I mean, that's the intersection where a lot of the students come in.
Mm.
That's, where's that's bad, that corner of Manhattan. The 2477 intersection there in Manhattan. There's been some bad wrecks there. I don't have anything else.
I don't either. John?
I don't either. I'll go ahead and make a motion then to adjourn the April 3rd meeting of the Riley County Commission.
Second that.
And moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting, the April 3rd